call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Allen.
Here.
Green.
Here.
LaFleur.
Here.
Mistrovich.
Here.
Reindell.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Good to see everybody here again tonight. Approval of minutes for the City Council meeting of September 16th. The motion would be in order.
Motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Audience comments on any non-agenda items. If anybody would like to speak to the City Council, we ask that you come up to the podium, state your name and your address for the record. Would you guys like to talk to council? Okay, all right, very good. Adoption of agenda, Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes.
City Council, any changes? Nope. Motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There is no discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have 3 items for consideration this evening. The first one being consideration of Richmond Volunteer Fire Department utility trailer donation. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider approving a donation from the Richmond Volunteer Fire Department of the department's enclosed trailer to the St. Clair County Firefighters Association. The Firefighters Association is an organization that we belong to and use for the training of all of our personnel going through Firefighter 1 and 2. They also do other trainings throughout the county. They are in need of a trailer to haul equipment for the firefighter classes, but also for, I think, the driver's ed training and hazmat training. The RVFD have met and would like to make a donation of the enclosed trailer that we no longer need due to reorganizing some of our equipment onto new vehicles that we have. So Chief Spence is here tonight requesting that we donate the trailer.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the donation of the Fire Department's 2008 Pace American enclosed trailer, St. Clair County Firefighter Association.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion?
It probably should get clarification because I'm not necessarily sure it's the Firefighters Association that's getting it. The training is run through the Fire Chiefs Association. I don't know if that's jumbled in the minutes, but St. Clair County Fire Chiefs Association, they oversee the training of the new firefighters. They run the firefighter academy. So it's actually going to the firefighters at St. Clair County Firefighters Academy, run through the Chiefs Association. So just so we clarify that in the motion.
CFA.
Right.
Because
Because the St. Clair County Firefighters Association is a separate group, and they do have a part in it. So just so people don't think it's just going to that, it's going for the academy, which is run through the association and through the Fire Chiefs Association, which basically falls under one big umbrella at the end of the day. But I just want to make sure council was clear on that.
I'm not.
You have
To be honest,
St.
should
Clair
we
County.
change the motion?
St. Clair
Should we
County.
change the motion?
No, I would just add the St. Clair County Firefighter Association / St. Clair County Fire Chiefs Association.
Okay.
Because their memberships work together to run the fire academy.
Okay. You made the original
Chief
motion.
Diaz
Will
of
you take
Memphis, yeah. Chief Diaz of Memphis is the head of the training committee, and that's how this was requested at the Chiefs meeting in St. Clair County last month.
that? Okay.
So
You made the original motion.
yes,
Do
and
you-
then I want to add that /
Yeah,
St. Clair
slash.
County Fire Chiefs Association.
Okay. John, you had supported, I
I'm
believe.
okay with that.
Okay. Any comments, Chief?
No, like Rob said, the two work hand in hand. Ultimately, the Chiefs Association is in charge of it, but a lot of the training itself is pulled through the Firefighters Association. So it's primarily going to be both groups working together that are going to be utilizing this. And multiple departments through the county over the years have donated equipment. I can't think of anything that we've donated recently, so this is our way of kind of contributing to the group.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, the academy travels to different departments to do different trainings, so this is a part of their way to get equipment to these different departments, as is explained. They didn't want to take in-service trucks equipment off at that particular training, and that department have a run and their equipment's laying out, being used at the academy, so they're purchasing and getting donated all their own equipment for the academy. So that's why the trailer becomes a huge asset to the, for the academy applicants.
Any other discussion on the motion? Any audience participation on this? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2 is consideration of naming an acting city manager. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider naming an acting city manager during the city manager's vacation out of state from Thursday, October 10th through Wednesday, October 14th. Section 7.6, acting city manager of the charter, provides council with the ability to name an acting city manager in the absence of the manager. In the past, we've done this back when Darwin Parks was the city manager. We've talked about myself trying to get a little more distance and vacation and be on vacation when I go. So I thought with our public service director now having several years under his belt, a lot of the emergencies that come up that may need a decision to be made are often infrastructure related, whether it's water and sewer, roadways, things like that. So, and I know council has worked with Jim and as well as the different department directors and the public. So I'm comfortable in recommending to council that they name Jim acting manager in my absence.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion before discussion?
I make a motion to name Jim Getzinger acting city manager in accordance with section 7.6 of the city charter from, and I need clarification because the dates all in here are jumbled. So is it
Sorry.
Thursday, October 10th through Wednesday, October 16th?
I will be back in town on Wednesday, so I'm saying through the Tuesday.
So, okay, then that would be the 15th.
The
then.
15th, sorry.
That's, nope, that's why I'm just making, so then Thursday, October 10th, are you working or are you?
On Wednesday, I'm working.
Okay, so then, then through Tuesday, October 15th.
Correct.
Support.
It's been made and supported.
Yeah,
Any
because that says
discussion?
October 13th, yeah, okay.
I got a question. In the event that that John ever does hire assistant, will we have to do this? Or would that assistant fall under that? Would we have to make this motion?
When I was the assistant, I wasn't always named.
You weren't always named? Okay, that's
correct.
why I didn't know, being it was in the charter.
Because he was only 19 when he was. He started with
I wish.
I didn't want to say that.
He was a young man in those days.
No, council has to take formal action to name. At
Anytime.
times when, for example, Darwin was going to be out for a weekend or something, we didn't. But
I
if it was
remember
a longer
doing this in
period
the
of time.
past, Paul
In this
and stuff.
particular case, because I'm going to be in South Carolina,
Right.
I just thought it'd be better.
No, I remember doing this in the past. I didn't know how it worked back when you were assistant city manager. That just rolled over, or, the chain of command, or being it was in charter, that council had to take formal action.
Okay. So any complaints while you're gone, go directly to
Jim?
Jim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You might be smiling now, but just wait. Any other discussion? We appreciate the fact that Jim is accepting the acting city manager's job while John is gone. Because there's a lot of responsibility. So, gentlemen, any comments? Okay, back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of well cleaning and pump replacement. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider approving Northern Pump and Well to clean well number 11 and replace the existing submersible pump with a vertical turbine pump.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion before discussion?
I make a motion to waive purchasing ordinance requirements under section 64-53D and authorize Northern Pump and Well to clean and replace the pump at well 11 for the amount not to exceed $42,502, with the expenses charged to the appropriate line item within the water fund.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Discussion.
As we put in the background brief, this quote was a little more than the quote we received from the other company, but there was actually more with this one, so we feel it was a better financial opportunity, but that's why we're asking for council to waive the purchasing ordinance. And Jim is here if you have any questions on the well.
Okay, thank you. Questions, anybody?
I've got to ask, what is a photo log? Like, what is?
They just camera the well to, you can verify that it was properly cleaned.
Okay.
So I'm a little confused on the other bid from Peerless. What is it that they bid? Did they bid 26 or did they bid 40?
There's 3 items in that quote. The first one's, I believe, the cleaning. The second one is to install a new submersible well.
Yep.
And the third one is to install a vertical turbine. So the submersible and the vertical turbine are the 2 options, if you will, but you need the cleaning in addition to either one of those options. So
Okay, okay. So we're talking, there's not that big of a difference. I was looking at the 26,974 versus 42,000.
yeah,
But no, we have to add the 14,592 to that quote.
correct.
So we're almost apples to apples.
They're within $1,000, I believe, but there's some additional, like the city manager said, value that to me puts it either equivalent or slightly higher. And we've worked with Northern, but Peerless, they're very knowledgeable, so we have other, I think, uses. I'm excited to work with them on some other items in town.
Okay. And why are you going with the, what is it called, Jim?
Vertical turbine.
Yes.
We certainly put a lot of evaluation into that. There's some cost benefits. A vertical turbine is less expensive to operate, and then traditionally maintenance long-term, it's less expensive. You're not replacing it, where a submersible, it's really, you use it till it goes bad, you replace it. A vertical turbine, you repair it, rebuild it. The well 11 is our biggest producer. It has a permanent generator. So when our tower's out of service, that's the primary well that we utilize. And it fluctuates well. A vertical turbine is much better has a much larger range of flow. So as far as reducing risk, we would feel much more comfortable if there's a vertical turbine. Because right now we've been fortunate that well, the pump that's in there now has performed well. But there's a risk that it will kick out if you overheat, if the flows go too low. Whereas a vertical turbine, you don't have that issue. So in the middle of the night, when we have minutes, to respond, we do not want to have to worry about a well kicking out and losing pressure. Then it becomes a major issue for the city. So that's why we're really pushing to replace that. It actually was constructed in '92 as a vertical turbine. I was unable to find why we switched to a submersible. But I believe it has to do partially with the contractor that installed the submersible and partially upfront costs. Initial costs are less for a submersible to purchase a submersible. But after careful evaluation, we do feel it's appropriate to switch back to that and maintain that as we go forward.
Does Northern, we've been with Northern as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Do they recommend going with the vertical rather than the?
They felt like in our situation, that's certainly a good option. They do install quite a few submersibles, so their initial thoughts were, well, if it's not broke, if you will, it's functioned for 9 years, why are we replacing it from that cost? But the more we talked, they certainly agreed with our evaluation, and Peerless did a cost analysis, and they fully agree that the operations costs are less, And then given the criteria that I had brought up to them, concerns we had about the well, tower being out of service, they said this would be, really is your best case, best situation for that. Now, of course, his initial concern had to do with cost. It's going to cost you more to switch. So, but once we talked through, he fully supported switching to a vertical turbine.
Is the life expectancy about the same?
Well, yeah, in a sense, the vertical turbine's significantly longer because you can repair it.
Yeah.
And versus, again, right now, if we pull that well, we would have to replace the submersible pump because you can't, if you clean a well, you don't want to put that pump back down, and then you have to, once it goes, you're wasting a lot of money to remove that. Whereas a vertical turbine, say the motor, if you get a lightning strike, for example, fries the motor on a vertical turbine, it's up above ground.
Okay.
You don't have to pull the pump to replace the motor. So half of the components are actually above ground with the vertical turbine versus a submersible.
Do we have any vertical turbines?
We have about half and half.
Do
right
we?
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
That was the original mainstay, was vertical turbines. They started switching to submersibles because of cost. On our smaller producers, that's still probably the best solution when they don't run very much. We don't receive that cost benefit very quickly to go to vertical turbines, so they may be appropriate on the smaller wells, but in this case, based on the numbers we were provided, by our next cleaning, we will have paid for the switch, the increase in cost to switch to the vertical turbine.
Great. Very good. Okay. Any other questions, comments, guys? Gentlemen, any questions, comments? Okay, back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call vote.
Green,
Yes.
LaFour,
Yes.
Mistravich,
Yes.
Rindell,
Yep.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, city manager's comments, sir.
None tonight.
Council comments. Rob?
Nothing.
John?
Nothing.
Emily?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Nothing.
I'm good.
Same here, all done.
We have a meeting to go back into. I'm sure that's part of this tonight. We'll just run through the calendar very quickly. Well, I do want to say, the council approved the Michigan Dressers Motorcycle Club, Riding Club, to have an event yesterday. And when we approved that at the last council meeting, the chief was here and also volunteered the fire department outside our police department's jurisdiction to help with the road crossings, which they did. Luckily, I was able to go on this ride, and afterwards I heard nothing but praise for the people that from the fire department and also the people that worked the police department on how well it was done. They've never been treated so well in the community. This was their 32nd annual toy run. It moved to Richmond because where they were meeting before in Fraser consolidated with two other VFWs, so there was not enough time during the week to be able to stay down wherever it moved to, so they had many members that were Moose members, and the Richmond Moose opened their doors to them. Fantastic event. There had to be at least 300 motorcycles or more, and raised a lot of money for a little girl and her family that desperately needed it for medical treatment. So hats off to our police department and our fire department for being there. As a rider, it was very, very safe because of the people that were out there from our two departments. So I believe there was an email that came in from the organizer from the Michigan Dressers. He just couldn't, he and other officers that were here that night came up to me numerous times after the ride saying they can't believe it. They just can't believe the way Richmond treated them. So hats off to both those departments. It was a great event without problem. So, and then we go to the calendar here. Today being the 7th, we have a cable commission tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here at City Hall. The planning commission has been canceled for the 10th. There was nothing to put on the agenda. The 12th is the third annual cemetery walk put on by Richmond Area Historical Society. That runs from 1 to 3 o'clock at the Richmond Cemetery, and it's a $15 charge there. We have, it is Saturday, October 12th. You can call there's a few numbers here. Hopefully, we can put that up on our bulletin board, the various numbers to call. But it's the Richmond Historical Society that will be putting that on. We've got a new one here. It's quadrivalent vaccine. It's for the flu vaccine. It's going to protect 4 different flu viruses, 2 influenza A viruses, and 2 influenza B viruses. That vaccine is going to be held Thursday, October 17th, from 8:30 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon. And that is going to be held at the Richmond Lennox EMS on 32 Mile Road, just west of the city limit. There will be no charge for those with traditional Medicare or Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage. Everyone else would be charged $20 for that flu vaccine. And again, that is on October 17th at Richmond Lennox EMS on 32 Mile Road from 8:30 to 1:30. And we have one more here. There will be a free presentation put on at the Lois Wegner Library on October 22nd at 6 p.m. And the program is What is a County Drain? The Macomb County Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller office is going to be putting this on, and how that there is overdue attention needed to the many county drains, and how it's a critical component of economic activity. So that, again, that is October 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Lois Wegner Memorial Library. And there'll be another book sale on the 16th at the public library. And that book sale, that's an early bird on the 16th from 4 to 7. The 17th and 18th will be the annual library book sale. And again, on the 19th, which is Sweetest Day, from 10 to 2, the library book sale. It's bag day. I think it says bad day there on the calendar, but it's bag day. I think you can as many books as you can put into a bag for X amount of dollars. And of course, 2 weeks from tonight would be the next regular city council meeting at 7 o'clock. Again, trick or treat will be in the city of Richmond on Halloween from 6 to 8 p.m. and the City Parks and Recreation Department will be putting on the No Tricks, Only Treats at the Fire Hall Methodist Church parking lot that same evening from 6 to 8 p.m. also. That would be it. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to bring to the calendar? There is no closed session. Is there any other business of the City Council this evening? If not, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. There's no discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thanks for being with us.